Asante Sana Warden, that does mean thank you. And another thing we also will say around here is Twende, which means let's go. Jumbo everyone, welcome aboard. My name is Maddie Rose and I will be your safari guide on the Harambe Reserve. However, before we begin the adventure, I will let you know that those roads are going to get very bumpy, so I ask that you are fully seated, keeping hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times. If you have a lap sitter also, please keep them fully seated on your lap specifically, not being passed around, held up above your head, or held to stand on your lap or the seats. If you look up above your head, you might notice some signage. That is an animal spotting guide. This will give you an indication of what we are keeping our eyes out for today. Now, no two safaris out there are ever the same, so there's no guaranteeing what we might come across out there.
The Warden will give us the final walk here. We're going to enter into the reserve. We'll be starting off our adventure in the military forest. Home to some of Africa's most shy types of creatures.
And we are going to go once this truck gets all situated. Going to wait here for the Warden to give us the all clear that we can start our adventure today. Today we will be starting off by entering the Little Aturi Forest, where animals will rely on their darker color and camouflage to be able to blend in with that dense foliage around them. This actually helps them stay protected from predators or any potential threats, but it will make it a challenge for us to find them as well. Side, kind of behind that first cluster of bushes, there is no copy. You might see its nice white face there. They are the closest living relative of the giraffe, confirmed through their skull shape. And there's this greater kudu right next to us on our left. Now, the greater kudu will stand at about 5 feet tall and jump at extreme heights to evade danger that might come towards them. Now, it was a female greater kudu because they have no horns on their head. The male greater kudu horns grow to a length anywhere between 4 to 6 feet. I do see someone up ahead enjoying a little snack on our left as I round the bend here. There is a black rhino. Now, the black rhino is a solitary creature. It likes to stay by itself rather than forming a social group. It will weigh about 3,000 pounds, which is the second smallest rhino species. There are only 5 different rhino species in total. Now, to help them forage in the forest, the black rhino has a small triangular-shaped prehensile upper lip. So prehensile means finger-like. They wrap their lip around the stems of bushes and vines to pull leaves off. But some animals in the forest rely on a prehensile tongue. There's some more greater kudus on our left. We are going to head down towards the Safi River to see what activity is hiding on the water today. As we go through the river, I will encourage you to keep your eye out for any dark shapes or bubbles that you might spot, as this can indicate something hiding below the river's surface. You might notice there are some large gray birds on that right-hand side. Those are pink-backed pelicans on that island. Now the pink-backed pelican gets its name from the pink hue that develops on its back during mating season. Now it is the only pelican that nests in trees and nests in colonies of 500 at a time. So they are pretty social. Now you do got to keep your eyes on the water. The animals in the Safi River can hold their breath for several minutes before they have to resurface for air, which can make it tricky to find them. Please remain seated. Some animals in the river, like the Nile hippopotamus, will hold its breath for several minutes before needing to resurface for air, making it very tricky to find them. The word hippopotamus loosely translates to river horse in Latin. This is very fitting since they walk and gallop on the bottom of the riverbed rather than swimming. They push off the bottom and they let momentum carry them in the water. Now they do know how to swim, they really just choose not to. Now the reason they spend so much time on the bottom of the riverbed is because it is cooler and they can avoid the heat of the sun. We are going to get ready to cross the Nile Crocodile Bridge. It got named for crocodile activity discovered in the water during the construction. And I do believe I see a few of them. That is roughly the same height giraffes will grow to as well. Now, the Nile crocodile does not have any sweat glands, so when they sunbathe on the riverbank, they hold their jaws open. That allows the excess heat that starts to build up in their system to escape, and it will show off the toothy grin that they have. But as we come around here, the trees have started to open up, which is a good indication that we are heading down towards the savannah. The savannah does not contain as much dense foliage as the river or the forest. On your right hand side, you will notice a large leafless tree. This is the baobab. Now the baobab will stay leafless for about 9 months out of the year. It allows it to conserve water usage during the drier season. Now the leafless appearance does make it look like it has roots coming up out of the top of the tree rather than branches. That is how it got the nickname the upside down tree. As we come down the hill here, hopefully on that left hand side you'll be able to get a little glimpse of the savannah and some of the wonders it has in store for us up ahead. The savannah is a very vast open landscape, so animals will stay together in large groups and herds for protection. Now camouflage is a good tool, but only when you have something to blend into, and since there's not a lot out on the savannah, you are safer in those larger numbers. Now if you take a look, you might notice a Maasai giraffe behind the tree there. The Maasai giraffe will grow anywhere between 16 to 18 feet tall. Its length will start out at about 6 feet tall when it is born. Now we do have some friends over on our right as well. This is Ankole cattle. Now the Ankole cattle have big horns that grow anywhere between 4 to 6 feet wide. And despite the large size, those horns are super lightweight because they are hollow. They do contain a honeycomb-like structure with blood vessels in them. Now on our left, there are some African painted dogs. One just laid down behind a rock. You might notice their orange-colored pattern. African painted dogs got their name from the pattern that is found on their fur. They're the most successful hunter on the savannah, being more successful than big cats, including lions or hyenas. I do see some friends laying down in the shade up ahead. You might notice a brown antelope on the base of the hill behind the bushes. Those are sables. They're very brave because when faced with a threat, they will stay and fight rather than running. But we got wildebeest on our left here. Wildebeest have one of the largest migrational patterns, as roughly 1.5 million will travel a distance of 500 to 1,000 miles in search of food and water. Now, wildebeest have scent glands on the bottom of their hooves, so when they migrate, they leave a scent trail that allows other wildebeest near the back of the migration group to pick up on the scent to figure out where they are going. Now, it does look like the trees around us are missing a lot of leaves on the lower branches. That is due to the hard work of the Maasai giraffe. They utilize their 18-inch long prehensile tongue to grab those leaves off. But this is beneficial for the tree because it doesn't have to use as much water when those leaves are missing. We do have somebody waiting by the road up ahead here. On our right, we do have a Hartman mountain zebra. Hartman mountain zebra is actually black with white stripes. Their black nose is the first color in their color pattern. A group of zebras like this is known as a dazzle. Because they are constantly grazing on the grass, their teeth wear down fairly quickly. So to keep up with their eating habits, the zebra teeth never stop growing. Baby zebras are actually born with their legs the same length as a fully grown adult zebra. Now I actually see my favorite animal up ahead. A lot of people overlook them due to their small size, but on the hill to your right, you might see these little light brown antelopes. These are springboks. Now the springbok is a great reminder that tiny is mighty because these little things, they can run 55 miles an hour. They jump about 6 feet high and they will clear a distance of 9 to 13 feet while airborne. They only weigh about 90 pounds. Now, theoretically, the springbok could jump into the truck with you guys if it wanted to. They do have those sharp little horns on their head, though, that they use as a defense mechanism, so you do have to kind of watch out for those. There's a Maasai giraffe on our left, just hiding up here on the hill. What are you doing up there? Hi. Even though they all look to have the same pattern, it is individualized like fingerprints for them, so you actually can identify them based on the spot pattern. We are going to venture a little further to see what else we might be able to find. On your right, there is somebody positioned in a beautiful side view there of an African elephant. They are identified by their large ears that look like the continent Africa. Now, African elephants have these blood vessels on the back of their ears. So they will circulate their blood through their ears while they flap them, and it drops their body temperature by several degrees. Now, a research project in Africa revealed that elephants will avoid beehives to protect that sensitive skin from getting stung. Farmers in Africa are able to utilize this to protect their crops from getting trampled. They install what is known as a bee fence around their property line. When migrating elephant herds enter the area, they hear the buzzing that comes from the bee fence, so they will leave that area alone. And it will protect the farmers' crops, and the farmer is also able to harvest the honey that the bees make. allowing elephants and farmers to live in harmony together and avoid any conflict with one another. On the right-hand side, you might see the beginning formations of some red clay pits. Red clay is a great source of vitamins and minerals for an elephant's diet. Their diet is mostly consistent of vegetation, so this natural resource provides them with extra nutrients. They use their ivory tusks to scrape the red clay off the wall before they use their trunks to bring it up into their mouth. Elephant trunks contain thousands of muscles to help them bring food and water into their mouth, but it also helps them throw mud and dirt onto their bodies. Now we are going to get a little close to this truck here, and we're going to kind of wait a minute because there is something in the road blocking us. It is quite a few trucks ahead, so you can't see what it is. I'll figure out what it is in a minute. But elephant trunks have those thousands of muscles, and when a baby elephant is born, they don't know how to use that trunk yet. So that trunk just sits on the front of their face and kind of swings around, sometimes tripping them. But their mom is the one that will put mud and dirt on the baby to act as their sunscreen and bug repellent, protecting them. Female elephants will have one of the longest gestational periods of most mammals, sitting at a 22-month pregnancy. That's just shy of 2 years before she gives birth to one calf that weighs about 250 pounds. Now, elephant herds do believe in the saying that it does take a village, as they all help one another raise their young. Elephant herds are actually mostly made up of females, because when a male elephant grows up to a certain age and matures, he will either get kicked out of the herd or he ventures out on his own to start his next adventure. Now, male elephants may choose to stay by themselves, but sometimes one or two males hang around in the same area and form loose bachelor herds. Elephant herds are actually led by a matriarch, so this means that the dominant female is in charge of the herd. Dominant does not technically mean oldest, it means the one with the most information. Now, she will make sure that her group is staying safe and protected, and will kind of show them where to go for food and water and migration patterns, and she makes sure that everyone follows their social statuses, as they do kind of have a ranking system in their own herd that they create themselves. If you're ever on the safari and you're stopped because of something in the road, you can place your money on 3 animals, and always 3 animals. It's always either a rhino, an ostrich, or a giraffe. Never changes. Every once in a while, you will get an antelope that decides to go into the road. Elephants have those tusks on their face that is made up of ivory. Now those tusks grow uniquely to them. No tusk grows in the same way, and that's actually how you can tell the difference between what elephant you are looking at based on how their tusks look. You can actually help protect elephants in their conservation efforts by looking at what is made up of those little knickknacks that you buy. Make sure those little knickknacks don't contain any source of ivory in them. This will help bring it down the illegal collection of ivory from elephant tusks and help their population regrow. It can take a while to regrow the elephant population because of how long their gestation period is, and they only have one calf at a time, so Every 2 years, there is one new calf. We got some movement. Let's see if we can go find the rhino that was causing problems. Just wait a moment here. Elephants are able to produce a range of sounds, producing from their trumpeting to the low rumbles that human ears can't pick up on. These low rumbles can travel through the ground over a very long distance, and they are able to pick it up through the vibrations in their feet. Oh, troublemaker number 1 and 2 over here. We got one troublemaker here. And we got 2 troublemakers here. Now listen here, little one. Stop learning bad habits from your mom. See that little face. How can you be mad when you're so cute? Henri, I swear. Giraffes have those 2 bony-like structures on the top of the head that are ossicones, and they actually can use it to defend themselves. If something attempts to threaten a giraffe, they can swing their head and smack whatever it is with those ossicones. It's a pretty good deterrent. Well, we got some friends in the water here. This is a group of greater flamingos, or known as a flamboyance of greater flamingos. They're the largest and palest flamingo in the family. They get their color from the beta-carotene that's found in the shrimp and algae consumed in their diets. So the more that they eat, the pinker their feathers start to develop. You might hear some of their honking. That is how they communicate to one another through various honking rumbles. But we're going to venture even further to see what else we might find. Now you might notice there is this mud pit on our left-hand side. That is a mud wallow, a very good resource for animals on the savannah. Not all animals have a trunk that they can use to throw mud on their bodies like elephants. So other animals have to wallow around in mud to help coat themselves. I do see a rhino walking up the hill, but I can bet where it's going. So we're going to go try to catch it up, or go around a little bit. I think I know where it's heading. Rhinos love to wallow around in this mud wallow. That's probably why they were over here. This helps them cool off on warm days because it maintains a lower temperature, and then they also drink the water out of that mud wallow. But there is somebody sunning themselves on your left-hand side. It's going to be a little tricky because they are in the sunlight. There is a cheetah laying elegantly on the top of the hill. You might just see the yellow spots, the yellow and black spots over there. Now, cheetahs have excellent camouflage because they hunt during the day. They have to be able to sneak up on their prey before they start sprinting after it. They will hit 0 to 60 in roughly 3 seconds with the help of their semi-retractable claws, giving them traction. Now, unlike other big cats, the cheetahs don't know how to roar. They actually will only produce little bird-like chirps and purrs, more like your common house cat. Up ahead, we do have a giant rock structure. This will be a kopie rock. Now, the kopies are utilized by many animals, but mostly predators. This is because it provides a vantage point for them to see where their next meal comes from. Some predators can use it as a place of rest. For example, a lion, which is nocturnal, can spend about 16 to 20 hours of the day sleeping and only become more active around that evening and dusk period. Their night vision is actually 6 times stronger than our own. Oh, that is, oh, handsome boy on our left there. We've got those white rhinos on our right. White rhinos stay in a group known as a crash, weighing about 5,000 pounds. Now, the difference between a lion and a lioness is that that lion has a mane on his neck. It actually grows with him as he ages to help him look bigger and more intimidating to challengers. Now, when they roar, it can be heard about 5 miles away from the originating source. But when they are younger, they don't have it as loud as a projection. They have to work on their vocal cord muscles to get them louder. But we have warthogs on our left. Now, warthogs are very intelligent. They back up into their burrows so that their tusks face outward. That way, if a predator stumbles upon them while they're in their burrows, they can charge out and defend themselves. I do see some feathered friends on our right here. These are 2 ostriches. The ostrich is the largest flankless bird, being able to run about 35 miles an hour. They use their wings to balance so they don't fall over while they run at that high speed. And to help give them traction, they have 2 toes on their feet. Unlike a bird's 3 or 4, there's actually ostrich eggs on your right on this side row. 1 egg will weigh about 3 pounds or 24 chicken eggs. The shell is nice and strong where you are able to stand on it without it cracking. Now, we are going to start heading down into Magadi Glen. This is where Warden Wilson is at. He helps take care of the animals out on the Harambe Reserve. He's the one that we call when we have animals in the road to help come get them out of the way. But he will also take care of animals in his backyard. The warden does care for a small herd of Nigerian dwarf goats. Now, they might look small, but they are actually fully grown. They are great climbers because of their incredible balance. The warden tends to find them scaling his items around the property. Now, that yellow structure you see in front of the warden's hut is a bee box that the warden will use to help keep those elements away. But he also can make honey and sell at the village. Now, the warden does provide the goats with food, water, shelter, and enrichment that they need in order to stay happy and healthy in their environment. And we actually can do something similar ourselves at home. It can be in your backyard or on your balcony. It can be big or small, but we can make backyard habitats. We could plant pollinator gardens, which help out bees and butterflies. We can build a birdhouse or a bat box and even toad abodes. You might not see it, but many animals will take up residency in our backyards. And those little things that we do to help them are really big steps towards their conservation efforts. Now, at this time, I would recommend you do a nice little check around your row and make sure you have all your personal belongings, because when I say it is a long journey to return to Africa to retrieve forgotten items, I mean it is a long, long journey. So just make sure you have all those personal belongings before you disembark. We're going to be passing a few unloading areas, but I'm not letting you off there. I'm actually taking you all right back to where I picked you up at. So I am going to call the warden to let them know that we are on our way so they can get that dock all ready for us. Now, where I drop you off at is actually at the very beginning of the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. Now, if you would like to go on the Gorilla Falls Trail, when you go down the ramp, just head off to your left. But if you would like to exit, just head off to your right once you go down the ramp. Over there, you have a chance to find gorillas. There is an underwater viewing area to the hippo pool. You might come across an okapi or a zebra, or even find a meerkat or naked mole rat. I find the naked mole rat pretty interesting. There's two colonies that live in two separate areas. One lives in organization and one lives in chaos, even though it is the same species. It is pretty cool to see how they live differently. Now, you can get Wilderness Explorer badges on the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. If you would like a safari badge for those Wilderness Explorers, the keyword you need to know for that booklet today is Simba 1. That is right, Simba 1. Now, to find where the badge is, my best recommendation is to ask one of the Wilderness Explorer guides on the Gorilla Falls Trail, as they can best guide you to where it is, as it is a little tricky where I drop you off at. Now we are going to just wait here a moment. We're going to let these 3 trucks in front of us load up and take other people out on their safaris. And then we're going to drive right past those loading docks and go to the area where I picked you up at. Now there's actually another adventure you can go on today. It's a self-guided tour, the Maharaja Jungle Trek. Over there you do have a chance to find a Komodo dragon or bats, water buffalo, or something like I find really cool. They do have tigers over there. You might see a chance of them moving around. Right now there is a little adolescent tiger. His name is Boxo, which translates to meatball. So you might be able to go over there and see Meatball rolling around with his mom. He is about a year old now. He had his first birthday of September this month, but if you happen to catch him playing with his mom, I want you to take a look at his paws. As you can see, they are still pretty big compared to the size of his actual body. So he still has some growing to do. He's gonna get pretty big. And there are badges that you can earn over there as well. Going to go up to that dock now. Here in Africa, we don't like saying goodbye because it is far too sad and final after our fun adventures. So we instead use a Swahili phrase, which is kwaherini, which means to go well. So I'm going to wish you all a kwaherini. I hope you guys will go well and wild. Have a wondrous time at Disney's Animal Kingdom or wherever your adventure might take you guys next today. It's going to get a little bumpy, folks. Watch those hands, arms, feet, and legs because those doors are going to be sliding open. Watch your step when you disembark. Kwaherini, everyone. Have a wild time out there today.